Hello, everyone. It is Emily here with Fort Worth Moms, and I am live here at 8:46 p.m. because all my kids are in bed, so I can't really go live before that because they're awake. And I'm hanging out with my pal Beth, who you may know from our Mom Fashions podcast. And we're also chatting with our friend Kim tonight, who is on our Fort Worth Moms writing team. So, how about since she is new to our Mom Fashions gig, Kim, how about you tell our friends a little bit about ourselves, what you do, your family, whatever you want to share.
All right. So I'm Kim, newer contributor to the Fort Worth Moms. I am a mom of two. I have twins, Lizzie and Sammy, who will be 2 in June. So I have full-on pandemic babies. We do not know any different than pandemic parenting. And I am a therapist, so I particularly work with moms. My specialization is in perinatal mental health. So any mental health around pregnancy, postpartum, and even perinatal loss are things that I specialize in. And I just really have a heart for working with moms and just how hard the transition to parenthood can be. So that is especially why I like the Fort Worth Moms blog community, because I remember even before I became a parent reading stories from other mothers, and I was like, okay, this is what it's like. This is the real.
Yeah.
And so
Let's give you the real story.
Yeah.
Oh man, Kim. So this is mine and Kim's like first interaction, really. We've been on the team together, but everything has been virtual, and so I'm just shocked that is a career path, and I wish I had known you 10 years ago. Like I so needed that in my life. I'm so glad that people like you exist. So I'm very excited about that.
And I just want to point out that, you can always access someone like me, even, years into parenting. I think there's just always time to talk about the transitions, but absolutely. I think moms need somebody.
Right. Because postpartum, I mean, it's post.
It's just always post.
And that's it just always is.
That never ends. Oh man, that's kind of a sad thought.
Okay, don't go down that road.
Okay.
Come back.
Moving on.
Okay, Beth. Yes. Beth, tell everybody really quickly about yourself.
Okay, I'm Beth, and I work for Fort Worth Moms. I'm a podcaster. I do mom fashions and dabble in a few other things. And I stay home with my 3 girls, and 2 of them are in school. One goes to school next year, and then I will have a whole new life. I don't know what that's. I'll need you, Kim, because it'll be a
whole
other
transition.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I said, I am Emily from Fort Worth Moms, and I also do the podcast with Beth. And we dropped a new episode of Mom Fashions today, and it is called Celebrating Gal Pals. And in that episode, not only do we kind of talk about like our whole kind of mom friend journey, but we also talk a little bit about, well, actually a lot about an article that Kim had recently written for Fort Worth Moms about ideas for Galentine's Day. So we're calling this Facebook Live a little Mom Friends 101. So can we just like put it out there so everybody knows they are in fact normal? They're not the weirdo or the odd one out. That making mom friends is really hard, right? Do y'all agree?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, solidly.
Yes. Yeah, Kim, I would even love to hear just like a little bit about your perspective, because Beth and I, we've been moms for like a decade, right? And you're just barely post. You're not even 2 years post yet. So how has it been for you, like with this whole like making mom friends, making those connections with other mothers, and this like when you became a mother during the pandemic?
Yeah. So I really like to explore my other part of being a therapist is that I do grief work. And so I like to explore the grief that comes with pandemic parenting, because you have this image of what being a parent is going to be like. And then March 16th, 2020 rolls around and like everything goes poof and you don't have a community. And so I've been really lucky that I have some very close friends of mine who happen to be moms. So like they were already friends and then they are moms. And so they are my mom friends. But making mom friends during this time has just been almost a joke. Like
Right. Yeah.
where and how, and I just feel a little jealous of the people who got to do, breastfeeding groups and play dates and like all the normal stuff that moms kind of think about when they're nesting. So I have leaned into my online community. I'm a part of a lot of like twin groups. I'm part of the Fort Worth Moms of Multiples, which is a huge support. I'm part of our Fort Worth Moms Multiples group. And I actually met a fellow twin mom on Instagram and then drove into the woods to meet her in person in October 2020. I texted my husband. I was like,
Totally
"Here's the address
normal.
I'm going. Hope that we come back." And so she has been
I love that.
pretty much the only like new mom friend that I've really made and made an effort to continue seeing. But I loved in the podcast, y'all talked about this season just being one that's so hard to make mom friends in anyways, the little baby season,
Right.
because it is somebody's always sick or somebody, has my kids nap at this time and your kids are napping at that time. And it is sometimes like that meme of the woman who's like squinting into the distance with all the like equations around her is how I feel trying to like meet up with people.
Yes, the scheduling. Do y'all do the park play dates where you're like sitting around, you're trying to have a conversation, but the whole time you're just like, yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3, yeah, oh, like it's so frustrating. It's like just piecemeal conversation.
Yeah, you can never actually finish a sentence a lot of times when you have the play dates with the littles.
It's always nice thought.
Twins are another level because they go like this.
That's true.
And you're like, okay. But yeah, no, the one friend and I that go out, we get coffee with the babies in the stroller, and that's when we catch up when they are contained. And then once we get to wherever we're going, we know that it's just like waving at each other from about 20 feet away.
Yeah. Like, good job, Mom.
Like, I think I joke in the podcast episode that really the only reason I'm part of Fort Worth Moms is so I can have mom friends. That's not true, but maybe it is. And for me, who made mom friends in a pre-pandemic era, like I wish I could say that you don't have to like be intentional about it or put yourself out there, but you kind of have to do. And a lot of those things will happen. Those relationships will start by looking at, if your kiddo goes to preschool, trying to strike up conversations with the moms in the hall, like going like to different activities, trying to just sort of see who is like organically entering kind of your realm of influence. If you go to church, if you're like a part of a club, like junior league or something like that, like looking for women who are maybe in a similar age and stage as you. But I don't know, it is 10 years, almost 11 years later, it is still kind of hard because those moms that I knew at TCU music class or at preschool, like we've gone different ways because our kids go to different schools. We've entered different, so it's kind of like an ebb and flow. And I think it's always, I try to have the mentality of any person that I meet could become a mom friend. And more than often, she actually doesn't. And there's nothing wrong with that because all relationships have their own like level of what they're supposed to be. But I think having just that open-mindedness is like goes the longest way to finding like that friend on Instagram, where finding that one where you kind of click with, to me, that is mom friends 101, is having this open heart and open mind and kind of getting over yourself. Like, and that usually means getting over your insecurities because you always think that every other woman, like, oh, they have all these friends, they have a tribe, I don't. But literally every mom thinks that, right? It's just the deal. So
yeah. Okay, that leads me to a question. because so I'm married to a guy who will walk down the street and notice that somebody has a cool bike in his garage, and he'll walk up and knock on the door and be like, "Hey man, I ride bikes, you ride bikes, let's be friends." And then they'll be best friends. Like,
Right.
how do you do that? And
Yeah.
so, but I have no idea how to, like, I don't know what the word is, like, make the close a friendship, you know?
Gotta
For
close the deal,
example,
Beth.
yes. So this has been bothering me because last week I went to the park in our neighborhood with my kids after school, and there was this lady there, and I saw her and I was like, I already like her. Like, she just looks cool, and she has kids my kids' age. And so we started talking, and she was like super fun to talk to and really easygoing and whatever. And then it was like our kids kind of went nuts, so we had to go in different directions. And I literally stood in the middle of the playground, like, like my kids are like, "I have to pee, let's go." And I'm like, ah, and I'm like, how
Did
do
you
I
want to
like,
ask for her number?
yes, I did.
It's like
But it was like,
dating.
It is like
yes.
dating.
So I like made it a point to be like, "Nice to meet you. See you later," to see if it would like naturally happen. And she was like, "Yeah, we'll see you around." And I was like, dang it.
Yeah.
So Danica, if you're out there.
Call me.
I remember because
yes.
I nannied before I had kids, and I remember like some similar like eyeing of each other, and then I have to do the awkward like, "Oh, I'm actually the nanny." But
Yeah.
there were those times where even then, like, people would say, "Do you come to this park often? Like, do you want to, see if we come at the same time
Yeah.
next time?" And
This
I
is
feel like
totally like, do you come to this bar? Are you a
totally, it's
usual?
the mom version.
So, do you come here
Fancy
often?
meeting you here.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's hard to make the next move.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I mean, you
Really.
just have to kind of like bite the bullet and say, I love chatting with you. Like, would you want to meet here next Saturday?
Let me
Or,
text you so that we can do this again.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes this has happened.
I like that.
This one has happened there is a city park across the street from our elementary school, and a lot of kids go there to play afterward, which is kind of a natural way because moms kind of mingle about. You can kind of strike up conversations with women, and sometimes this has happened where like, I know that my daughter's like really playing with this little boy. I hear about him from class. And I'll be like, "Oh, do you mind if I just take a picture of them together? They're so cute." And she'll be like, "Oh, that's fine." And I was like, "Do you want me to text it to you?"
Oh,
I love it.
ooh, you
There
have
is
the
the line.
sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Here,
Nice.
let me just send it to you." Yeah.
I love it.
And that's also like, that's how I've been on the receiving end of that. And I'm like, yes, like there has never, ever been a time where a mom has like put effort to pursue me that I have ever felt weird about it.
No,
Or,
or been like yuck. Like,
yeah, no, that
Oh,
never
yeah.
crosses my mind. Like,
Yeah.
no.
yeah. So I think the moral of the story is try to like make that effort.
You may not be
Mhm.
lifelong best friends, but like
No.
there's value in it in
Yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
And there's
Good.
also value in getting to know your kids' friends' parents, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Mhm.
It kind of sucks that we are like back in dating, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit like dating.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
is. It's dating crimes. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit before we sign off. Well, first I will say I'll put links after we're done in the comments. Oh wait, it says we have comments.
I've been
we
seeing them
do.
come in from Miss
Yeah,
Katie, and
I
I
was
love her suggestion on the articles. She says a one-liner
liner
for
mom.
moms.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That would be so
I
funny.
love it.
One-liners to
I
make
think
mom
we
should
need
friends.
to
have people
crowdsource
send
that
them
with our
in.
team.
Yeah.
Yes,
Exactly.
for sure.
Send
You
us
What's
your
should-
your best
one-liners.
one-liner?
Yeah, comment below and give us your one-liner for
I love
making
that
mom
idea.
friends. That is so funny. I'll also in the links in the comments put links to the Mom Fashions episode celebrating Gal Pals, and then I'm also going to put the one we're going to talk about next, 13 Ways to Celebrate Galentine's Day,
Yeah.
because we do have mom friends, even though we may be making more mom friends. And this article, I'm old school. I printed it off so I could reference it. Here it is. But this article kind of like kicked off all this stuff in my head. And Kim wrote this article for us. It's 13 Ways because Galentine's Day is on February 13th. But it is
that. Nice.
Oh, Beth, come on.
I do.
I don't sleep much.
So sly. But what I loved about it is it had a lot of really great ideas. And I think like more celebrating of female friendships is what we need, and less comparing and less judging and commenting on other people's mothering, not what we need. So this article just really resonated with me. And I'm just going to pull two that I loved from it. And one would be like your idea for taking a class together. And I thought this was really a neat idea because some of my dearest, oldest college pals we all live in different cities, but like those college friends are the ones who kind of like knew you as you were becoming you. And the whole thing of taking a class, I mean, you could do it in person if you live in the same area. It's a fun thing, a focus thing to do that you kind of don't have to plan for. You just show up. But I even love the idea of having it as a virtual option and something y'all can all participate and do, that there's a beginning and an end to it, but a way to make memories as well. My second favorite one is that I kind of know that this topic is, well, it can have some sad parts in people's hearts who are kind of like longing or wishing for, more close connections in their lives. But I loved the way that you even put in here about reflecting with gratitude and journaling and thinking about the women who have been in your life, who are in your life, that have made a difference in it. And even if you never go through that effort of letting them know that, which I would encourage you to do, but just having that exercise of reflection and gratitude, I think is really valuable to kind of soothing some of those sad parts in our heart.
I love that you put it that way, because I think, Beth, you kind of talked about this on the podcast of like just feeling like you don't have that tribe, which is a little bit of that comparison of like, look at what she has. And then when we sit down to reflect, and I did the same thing. I was talking to my husband. I was like, this episode is called Mom Friends 101. And I don't know if they know, but I don't know how to make mom friends.
You do now.
My husband laughed when I told him.
Yes. But when I did reflect, he was like, well, you've got Allie, you've got Lindsay, you've got, and he's naming them. And I'm like, oh, I need to take a minute and take my own advice. And be a little bit reflective with gratitude on like the depth of friendships and the quality of friendships that I have, rather than wishing for the sorority level 25 bridesmaids. I didn't have 25 bridesmaids. And,
yeah and just that it looks so different right now. Friendships look different than what we knew before kids, or even before marriage or careers or things like that. Like it looks different. We have a comment from Krista saying that she, like you, Kim, came that she became a mom right before the pandemic. And I just want to say to you, Krista, but to the moms that I have spoken to recently who are in your shoes and who are lonely right now, this has been a time, I think, for all of us where we're realizing, even for me as an introvert, how much I need other women in my life, and that I need to make the effort to seek it out, even when it's not natural for me. But you are not alone in feeling that way and feeling lonely. Like, we're all here to tell you that, like, none of us feels like we're good at making friends. None of us feels like we have that tribe. But we all know that we need it and we all want it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And can I just say too that this isn't just a pandemic struggle. Like this occurred. I mean, I was taking pictures and trying to get people's numbers well before we even knew what the word coronavirus was. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just difficult. I mean, your margin is so much less. You are, Kim, going through all of those transitions of identity, self-worth, like who are you even as a woman, let alone thinking about as a friend, you know? But I think all of us can agree that pursuing those female relationships is totally worth it. And that's what I want us to kind of like leave with, like, no matter where you think you are on the spectrum of a tribe, that it's always worth pursuing in whatever way, whether you're asking for somebody's number at the park or not, whatever that way that looks like think about it. What can you do? Just do it. Start putting on the goggles of like who do I want to be friends with?
And just leaning into those existing friendships. I think that's y'all talked about in the podcast when you were going through the article of just these ways that are not only to celebrate your friendships but deepen them. I just think we are social creatures, and that has been neglected so much over these last couple of years. And so putting yourself in a moment of discomfort where you have to get the babysitter or arrange something or do something that's for you, which as moms feels a little foreign, but knowing that you'll come back obviously better for it, and just knowing that that'll fill you up, even if, like you, Beth, you are an introvert. Like there are still those moments where for introverts that deep connection is so special and important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Katie is talking about the struggle that it is to maintain those friendships, like to remember to respond to text and to, you know, like be the one to reach out and make the play date. And those are hard things to remember when you are already balancing so many things. I think I would say, and this is kind of like my mantra, especially on Mom Fashions, is like, you have to offer grace not only to the other moms that like you're trying to connect with, but also to yourself. You know, like you as a mom are doing a lot of things. You as a woman are carrying a lot of things. And so give that margin to yourself and to the women around you that like if they don't text back right away, they don't hate you, right? Like they probably are like elbow deep in diapers and who knows what else. And so like, yeah, absolutely. It is hard to remember the things that you need to do to maintain. But we are all in that boat. So we can kind of love on each other by giving grace in that way.
And keep going and keep trying.
Oh yeah.
And just keep going.
Yeah. And make it weird. It's fine.
Yes, totally. As my first grader is so into say right now, I don't even know if she knows what it means, but she'll be like, awkward. This is awkward.
What's the awkward turtle?
Awkward turtle. Just do that to other moms at the park and be like, do you understand what this means? Do you want to be friends?
Where are my people here? Where are my people?
That's a good way to find them.
I agree. I like that one.
Adding it to the list. I think we'll need a GIF in the article for this being
deal.
Maybe like a little explanation of how to do it. Yeah, like a diagram.
Drawn diagram.
Video.
Cool.
Done.
I'm down.
Okay. I'm going to ask, do either of you, like from the 13 ways to celebrate Galentine's Day, also thinking about celebrating? This is kind of like keeping the friendship alive. So it is a nice segue. These are ways we could do it. And it doesn't have to be on Galentine's Day. This is just a great list of ideas of things to do. Because I get kind of like lost in, let's go to dinner, which is great. But what was one that you really liked in the list of 13 that's like something that you hadn't thought of? Well, Kim had thought of, but you're like, yeah, I want to try this.
I think it's like reading this and doing the podcast has made me just more aware of like, what am I doing to connect with my friends or show them that I care, that I celebrate them, and just making the point like to go and to take a meal or to hold a baby. And mostly that's selfish because I just want to hold your baby. But just things
they
like
need
that.
it too.
Yeah, where it's like, what am I doing that is within my wheelhouse, right? Like within my strengths of who I am, what am I doing? And I think that it was really nice to have a list because it was like, yeah, I could totally send a letter, or I could totally just pick up the phone or text or bring a meal or, and so it's nice to have like somebody to tell me how to do it.
To have ideas. She used the brain power for us, and I don't know what to think of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really, I love that that's what you took from it. Because when I was writing it, I mean, let me tell you that to find 13 ways was slightly challenging. And I really did want there to be things that, because like everybody, to throw a party is not everybody's thing. It's not even my thing. And so, I was trying to think of, if I gave a this side of the coin, I wanted to give a that side of the coin. And so for me, like what's really in my wheelhouse is words of affirmation. Like I love words of affirmation myself. So like telling my ladies like what they mean to me is something I really love doing. But then something that's outside of my comfort zone sometimes is what Katie said, like that struggle of maintaining friendships. So making sure that I'm being intentional with my friends. So I actually made a Galentine's Day date with an old coworker who is a mom friend, who we've maintained our friendship really well, especially over this pandemic season. But it's been one thing or another. And even writing the article was like a little taste in my own medicine, which is the best thing that happens to me in therapy. I'm like, oh, I told a client that, and that sounded really good, and I should probably do that myself. So the article kind of kicked me in the pants a little bit too, to water my garden, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I like the way you put that. That's really good.
Okay. This was a good chat, y'all. Mom Friends 101.
I feel like I made some new friends.
Right?
We made friends. Yes.
Facebook Live with everybody that you meet and see if you click.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Do it in front of the world. That is the way.
Yeah. Well, you did notice that I texted all three of us together. So now everyone has their phone numbers. Do you see how I work here? See how I work?
She's sneaky.
Yes.
She is. I like it. Diabolical. I'll take it.
Right. We're going to end on that note. Emily is diabolical.
Love it.
Okay. Well, again, I will put links once we finish up here in the comments, but you can go to fwmoms.com to see not only today's latest Mom Fashions podcast episode and Kim's article, 13 ways to celebrate Galentine's Day. Yes. But we also have a tab that says Meet Moms, and Fort Worth Moms host 20 Facebook groups that are both regional in kind of areas in North Texas and also topical. So that's a great way to find even some online friends. So I'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye.